And you're back in the room. Right, part 2 of the Resident Evil collection is going to start with CDs, soundtracks. There you go, there's Biohazard Sound Chronicle Best Track box. This is actually the first Sound Chronicle box because they later released, that's dusty, they later released, shouldn't be, it's been in the cupboard. They later released a second one. Anyway, this one, I don't even need to take it out, it says on the back. Disc 1 is Biohazard 2. Sorry, yeah, it's Japanese, so it's Biohazard rather than Resident Evil, because Resident Evil is just the Western name for it. In Japan, it's Biohazard. Yeah, so for some reason they're out of order. Don't ask me why. Disc 1 is Resident Evil 2. Best tracks from the soundtrack, the 2-disc editions, obviously. Biohazard 3, Last Escape. Which is what it was known in Japan. Obviously here it was Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, but in the Japanese version was Last Escape. Disc 3 is Resident Evil Code Veronica X. Disc 4 is Resident Evil 1. You'd have thought that had been Disc 1, but there you go. Disc 5 is Resident Evil 0, and Disc 6 is Resident Evil 4. God, it always takes ages getting these buggers out. So I'm tempted to leave them in, it depends. Jesus Christ. It's been a while since I've had them out. There we go. Ah, yeah, that's why. Because that should be in one of the cases. Anyway, yeah, you've got your discs in there. I'm not really sure I took it out now. There's not even any pictures on the goes for it. Anyway, yeah, you get your, you know, you've got your books and everything. That's all in Japanese, so I can't read it to you. Even if I could, I wouldn't. Hey, should have probably left the rest on the desk, really. Yeah, explains the tracks and everything. You know, track titles, got some, you know, artwork and stuff in it as well. But it's all in Japanese, so I can't stand it. That should no, actually does it. No, it doesn't go in there. I thought it did, but you know, apparently it doesn't. So I'll have to go back in here, which I may do later, depends how easy it is. Hey, come on, get in. Anyway, yeah, this is wasting video time, so I'll put it back in later. Right, next up is Biohazard 2. Most of these are Japanese imports, by the way. That's why a lot of them say Biohazard, because you can't get them in Britain. This is the Resident Evil 2 soundtrack. It's a great soundtrack. It's got stuff on like, you know, about the movie, like the end titles, the beginning, the opening, the RPD. It's split into sections on the back. It's got the RPD stuff like the front hall, which is dun 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 dun. Anyway, you know, the floors, the save points, the tyrant, you know, in the sewers, marshalling yard, underground lab, that kind of stuff. Hang on. Sorry, that phone was ringing downstairs. Had to answer it. Anyway, yeah, that'll do for Resident Evil 2. What else we got? Now, digitally, I've got the Resident Evil 3 soundtrack, but that's because it was quite cheap digitally, and it's very rare to find on disc, and when you do find it, it costs about 50 quid. So, you know, I've not got that one yet. I'll maybe see if Neil can get it from Japan. Anyway, yeah, so next. No. Yeah. Oh. I hate carrying CDs, they're so unwieldy. Anyway, next up, Resident Evil Code Veronica X official soundtrack. This is a 2-disc edition. From both remastered from both the Dreamcast and PlayStation 2 versions, including the complete chapter themes, character themes, main titles, opening and end credits, which the normal soundtrack doesn't get. Oh yeah, forgot you. And with this one, you even get a little sticker of a hunter as well, which has remained unstuck because obviously it's part of the CD. So yeah, Code Veronica X, you get your music on there for that one, obviously, because it's a music CD. Oh, wrong way. Resident Evil Biohazard. Outbreak, sorry, Resident Evil Outbreak. For some reason Outbreak 2 is not available as a CD, but you know the first one was. So the opening title's pretty good, but the rest of it's not the best. But I mean, you know, it captures the essence of the game, I suppose. So right, next up, the annoying thing is these are all quite, you know, they reflect. So Biohazard Umbrella Chronicles, that's Resident Evil Umbrella Chronicles to everyone else. It's got some good music on it. I mean, it's a bit more upbeat than, you know, a bit faster than some of the other stuff. But yeah, it's a good CD. It's worth a listen. Again, you know, Biohazard, another Japanese import. I may get the Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City one when it's released later this next month. But I think it comes about 30 quid if you convert it, convert it from Japanese yen. So don't know. We'll see how much money I've got. Resident Evil 5, the 3-disc edition. 3 lovely discs. This is I don't know. I quite. The soundtrack to this is pretty good. It's got some. I mean, it's got the Mercenaries on it as well, which is pretty good. And it's got some good music on it. You know, it reminds you of the game. You know which parts have come from, that kind of stuff. There's not a lot you can really explain about CDs, is there? Other than it's alright music. Yeah, you know what I mean. So yeah. Biohazard wrong way. Biohazard Degeneration, which is obviously the Resident Evil CG film, which is the best film of the lot because the live action ones are utter tosh. The live action ones are really just a vehicle for Mila Jovovich. Anyway, yeah, great film. I'd recommend seeing it. I've got the DVD somewhere. That'll be. In fact, I may as well do that now. I'll do the CD because this is the only film I've got. Resident Evil Degeneration. And there's the case. It comes in its own sleeve. This is a great film. It takes place after Resident Evil 4, but before Resident Evil 5. Definitely worth a watch. Great film. Some of the best CG I've ever seen. Better than Toy Story. But you know, there you go. Strangely, this also came with, how much was it? I think it was about 100 quid worth of free paintballing vouchers, which was quite random. But yeah, so that's the soundtrack to the film. Again, Japanese import, that one. For the DVDs, you know, UK. I wish to do next. I'll do this one next. This one's quite well. They're all quite rare, except maybe the Resident Evil. Actually, no, the Resident Evil 5 one's quite rare as well, because they don't. You know, like I say, they usually only come out in Japan. That one came out in England and America as well. But every other one that's in this collection has only come out in Japan. So yeah, that's why they're quite rare, and they're quite rare in Japan as well these days. Biohazard Patchy Slot. Now you might not know what that is, but Patchy Slot, they're kind of like pinball machines, and this is the soundtrack to it. It's kind of like, I don't know. It's like a cross between an arcade game and a pinball machine. So you know, you've got your arcade things going on with your joystick, but you've got like a pinball machine as well that you've got to play through and this is the soundtrack to that. I just happened to stumble across it, actually. I didn't know it existed, and I just happened to find it last year, and it's quite well priced. So I thought, I'm having that. Resident Evil fan, why not? It's a good soundtrack as well. These ones are incredibly rare as well. This one's pretty good. This one, I'm not really sure how it. Anyway, yeah. So this one is. Hang on a sec. Door. Right, back again. Answered the door. Anyway, right, where was I? Biohazard Resident Evil the Orchestral album, which is just, you know, themes from the Resident Evil 1, 2 and 3, redone by the Biohazard Orchestra. You know, stuff like the prologue from Resident Evil 1, the RPD, Ultimate Bioweapon, Resident Evil 2, first stage, the opening save room from Resident Evil 3, and so on like that. It's a really great album, that. It's got some really nice pieces in it, and this one is also by the Biohazard Symphony, Biohazard Orchestra. but this isn't technically anything to do with Resident Evil other than it's done by the orchestra, and that's, there we are, Biohazard Symphony Op. 91 Crime and Punishment, which is just sort of like orchestral pieces by, let's have a go at this, Mamoru Samuragochi, who's some Japanese dude who composes it. Oh, yeah, composes it, yeah. That was meant to be, you know, with one like... Anyway, yeah. So that's the CDs. What time has it got? About 5 or so minutes left, so we'll go on to these. A movie book there, Resident Evil Extinction. It's just a novelisation of the third film, the third rubbish film. And these are the Resident Evil pocket books by S.D. Perry. Resident Evil 0 Hour. That's just the one of, that's the book of Resident Evil 0. Resident Evil The Umbrella Conspiracy. That's the novelisation of Resident Evil 1. Resident Evil Caliban Cove. That's it's a completely new story, original story. In the aftermath of their ordeal through the Umbrella Corporation's genetic research facility, the surviving members of the STARS attempt to warn the world about the conspiracy to create terrifying biological weapons. But the conspiracy is far from dead, as the STARS learn when they are declared outlaws by the very people who trained them. Forced to go underground, the STARS resolve to battle the conspiracy on their own, determined to seek out and stop Umbrella's experiments wherever they may be. Combat medic and biochemist Rebecca Chambers, the sole survivor of Bravo team, joins a new STARS strike force when rumour comes of another Umbrella experiment hidden beneath the rocky cliffs of Caliban Cove, Maine. Someone is building an army of the undead. Within a sinister lighthouse, through a complex maze of sea caves, inside the shell of a sunken shipwreck, the STARS must battle more unspeakable horrors and stop a madman from unleashing the biohazard upon the world. But the STARS may never get the chance, as the aggressive DNA-altering virus Umbrella has engineered to create its living weapons begins to infect them. Yeah, that's a good book, that. It's quite a thin one, but it's a really, really good book. Nice story. Well, not a nice story, it's a zombies, but yeah, it's horror in it. City of the Dead, that's the book of Resident Evil 2, and you know, it's the longest game, it's also the longest book. Resident Evil Underworld, that's book 4, but it's actually another original story. Umbrella has secrets. The mysterious corporation is creating monstrous biological killing machines for the highest bidder. But Umbrella has enemies too. Chief among them, a contingent of rogue STARS former members of the paramilitary response unit Umbrella helped to create. Umbrella has secrets. Despite its vast power, the company has begun to lose control of its hidden research facilities. Bit by bit, one lab at a time, 3 labs have already been destroyed. Their work lost, setbacks due in no small part to the meddlesome STARS and their allies. Umbrella has secrets, again. Beneath the deserts of the American Southwest, one of the company's most elaborate facilities is about to go online. Somewhere inside may also be the key to stopping Umbrella once and for all. If Leon Kennedy, Claire Redfield, Rebecca Chambers and their friends can get past a strike team of corrupt STARS and survive the genetically engineered horrors awaiting them below the sun-scorched earth, Umbrella has secrets, and one man with an agenda of his own knows them all. It's probably not Wesker for a change. Resident Evil Nemesis, obviously that's the book of the third game, and finally Resident Evil Code Veronica. What a lovely cover there, which is the book of Resident Evil Code Veronica. There's just one more here as well quickly. Resident Evil 3 Nemesis Complete Solution. I got this free with Play 60, which is an old PlayStation 1 game magazine that used to come out for PlayStation games. And, you know, that was it. Bye.